Hey guys, what is going on? We're going to change things a little bit because we're slowly gearing towards bringing back LSPDFR on the channel. I think it's been like maybe over 6 months. So it's about time we bring back Officer Awesome into the fray, so to speak. So until then, we are going to do our first tutorial installation, and it's going to be SimpleHUD. And as normal, if you've been here before, if you've played LSPDFR, I know you've been to this website because this is where you actually download the overseeing mod for LSPDFR. So as normal, you're going to read the description about this file. You're going to look through everything. You already see dependencies here, the requirements. You're going to see support, feedback, and what the latest update actually added. So you're going to add a country name, postal, limit local, and some new textures for different speed limit signs. So created by Venoxity, which is also Graffiti Exploits, and Gangster Dom helped out with the about this file and the README text, and I helped with the speed limits. This is going to be a work in progress. And no, my name is not Emporius Donatu. That is my I think I created it for Assassin's Creed Odyssey like a few years ago. It means death dealer in Greek. It was either that, and I have another one. But I definitely made a longer version. I made a condensed version for games that have like less than so many characters. So anyway, first thing you're gonna do, you're gonna download this. You're gonna put it to a folder. Right now, we currently are working on the desktop for tutorial purposes, but I have my own directory where I put everything nice and neatly, very OCD like. um, I save everything. Everything has a copy of stuff, and we'll see why shortly. That it's probably a good idea you retain zip files. Um, we'll cover that shortly. But yeah, download this file, download it to whatever folder you deem as appropriate. Could be the desktop, could be an external drive, could be some particular directory on your C drive. It's your choice. Just know where it's at, because we're gonna need to access it shortly. So anyway, you download that, then we're gonna download LemonUI, and all these links are gonna be in the description for easy use for you guys. So this mod, or I should say script, uses the newer version of ScriptHookV.net 3, which LemonUI is, like it says, it's a framework for developers and whatnot. So basically it's your menu. LemonUI is essentially replacing native UI that is never going to get another update. So LemonUI is more kind of like an ever-evolving new version of native UI, if that makes any sense. But we are going to download the version that I'm currently using is 1.9.3. I know that works with this plugin, so I will not be downloading 1.9.4. If it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of scenario. 1.9.3 seems to work fine for me. I have no issues. But we are also going to download 1.5.2, because 1.5.2 is the last version they updated for ScriptHookV.net 2. So basically got deprecated after this. They will not update it anymore. But if you have an older version of LemonUI, or I should say a script or plugin that relies on LemonUI, and it's an older version that has ScriptHookV.net 2, I would highly suggest you download this as well as a newer version to get ScriptHookV.net 3. And it should cover all your bases. So it basically, I don't want to say future-proof you, but it sort of kind of does, in case you get another mod that relies on LemonUI, and it might be an older mod, but it still works. Well, this will guarantee it working if you have ScriptHookV.net 2, if it relies on that. So anyways, long story short, we're gonna download 1.9.3 for this tutorial, and then we're also gonna download 1.5.2 for this tutorial. And again, download it generally in maybe the same area, if not the same folder as what you did with SimpleUI. Again, I'm putting everything on the desktop, just kind of nice and neat folder because that's where we're going with this tutorial. So now, going back to why I save zips and archives of files and versions and stuff, because of this. Currently, this is what you get when you go to ScriptHookV website. You can't download the current version or any past version, mind you, of ScriptHookV. This is not good, but I think it's something that has to do with their whois or something along with their domain. So hopefully they get it resolved and the website goes back to working. But in the meantime, and again, this link is in the description because I am OCD and save everything. I did have one of the more later versions of ScriptHookV, which is 1.0.2845. So I uploaded it. Again, link is in the description. You can download this. This is your ScriptHookV. And hopefully this is just a temporary scenario and they get it resolved as soon as possible. But until then, this is where you land on most of the plugins and scripts. Not good, because I mean, if you don't have this, if you're reinstalling your LSPDFR, or being a new person, this is unfortunately a wall that you get hit by. So hopefully it gets resolved. So the next thing is going to be ScriptHookV.net, which we're going to go to GTA 5 mods again. And go here. It's actually called CommunityScriptHookV.net, and the latest version is 3.5.1. So there's a little trick to this website that you kind of have to pay attention to. So we're going to go here. If you're not used to GitHub, it's a little crazy, but don't worry, we'll get there. So I would not advise clicking code and doing that. I would go down here, scroll all the way to the bottom, see where it says downloads. Pre-built binaries can be found on the releases page. Go to releases page. This will show you the latest version, the latest working version of ScriptHookV.net, and it's 3.6.0. So if you're a nerd and you know what they're talking about, you can read through the changelog. But for this tutorial, basically what you want to focus on is the scripthookv.net.zip. Download that. Again, know where you're downloading it to. For tutorial purposes, I'm downloading this all in the same area, but realistically, I have these all nice and neat in my own directory. Have everything kind of spread out, grouped into scripts, plugins, LSPDFR, so on and so forth. So after that downloads, we will go to here. This is my desktop folder. So you're going to go into SimpleHUD. And the first thing, as you should always, look at the README. See what the README says. All right, they spent time writing these things, so we should spend time looking at them, because a lot of times they'll answer questions before we even have them. So probably the most important things you're going to want to look here are, there's a file that you have to kind of drop in your mod folder. So we're going to want to keep a note on that. We will show you briefly on how to create a mods folder. If you don't already have one, we will also create or show you how to create a scripts folder in case you don't have that. Very simple things, but this goes into a scripts folder. This goes into a mods folder. So very simple things to do, easy peasy, or in LemonUI, lemon squeezy. Really simple things. So we'll open IV, and if you don't have this, really easy, you can Google it. It's super simple to install. It works with a lot of Rockstar, more modern Rockstar games. I'm currently only using it for Grand Theft Auto 5, considering to dabble in Red Dead Redemption 2, but for this tutorial, we're just working with this. So we are in a scripts folder. If you don't see a scripts folder in your main directory, you can just create one. You could right click on the screen, go to new and create folder, and then type out scripts, lowercase, right? And then it'll appear here. And then you double click into there. And then for tutorial purposes, we will snap this to the right. And then you see all these files. Basically, drag and drop. You're going to see that they're already here. I'm not going to do it because it's just going to put them over it. But that's essentially what you want to do. All right. And you know what? For this, we will. All right. Do that. And it should highlight them now. Or if not, if they weren't already here, they would all appear at the very end. So like I have Uber driver, SimpleHUD, because it already existed, stays in the row. If you are adding something that wasn't there already, they will all appear underneath. So SimpleHUD DLL would show here. Now, once you get out of this folder and get back in, they will then sort alphabetically or however you have things sorted. But as for now, they just basically overwrote it and they stay in the same spot. So SimpleHUD is all these different things. Here's the new postal they have, and they're slowly building out different postals. So they have OCRP, they got Virus City. Hopefully they get a couple more that match what I think it's what callout interface has. I think they have maybe 4 or 5 of them. So it'd be nice if they actually match those, because I know a lot of people use that because it's a very simple tool, and I think everybody should have that. Especially if you're handling LSPDFR stuff. Now here, we're gonna go back, then you're gonna go to LemonUI. All right, so another thing that I note and how I archive everything is if the developer or whoever uploads these things, if they don't put some sort of unique identifier like a version number, go ahead and create one. Like, it makes your life a lot easier to kind of understand what goes where, because here are the zip files, and these are basically them when they got dumped here. So when you extracted them. So if I didn't have that, I mean, you can see going off of 22290 or 70 would be very confusing. That really doesn't go in relation to what we're doing here. So when you put like the volume or version number, it makes it a little easier for you to go through. So anyways, LemonUI, we will stay in the scripts folder. And for 193, we are only going to grab these. And then we're just going to drag and drop. I'm not going to do it because I already have it. You can kind of already see that I have 2 and 3. So we're going to drag those over here. Basically, we're just going to do that. Once you're done there, now we're going to go to 152. Do the same thing this time. We're only doing .NET 2 because, again, this got deprecated. So you need version .NET 2. This is where you do it. All right, so LemonUI, done. And again, future proofing for any other older scripts that might need ScriptHook.NET 2. All right, now we're going to do ScriptHookV. And we're going to go to the bin. So these are the files that you kind of want to focus on. All right. We're going to hold left control and left click on both ScriptHookV.dll and the dinput8.dll to select both of those. Don't really need the native trainer ASI. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back. If you just saw, we're going to the main directory. All right, I use trainer V and occasionally menu as my trainers. So don't really need native trainer. But basically what we're going to do is going to grab those 2 DLL files and drop them in here. I already have them. I'm not going to do it, but basically you drag and drop make sure you are in the folder, you're not somewhere over here, and it could disastrous issues. And if you're doing it from like window to window, you've got to make sure you're not hovering in this area because it's highlighted, might drop it into something else. You don't want to do that. So just make sure before you drag and drop, make sure there's not already here. As far as I know, my version at least, it does not let me know when I overwrite, as you just saw when I did SimpleHUD. And if I would have drag and dropped LemonUI, it wouldn't have prompted me that I'm overwriting files. It'll just do it. So keep that in mind. That is why I'm going to say that this is paramount. Look, I guess we could say, look before you drag.
Peter, we're gonna be late for my cousin's wedding. Aren't you dressed yet?
Oh, crap. Well, one of us is gonna have to change.
I know it sounds funny, but the reality is you don't want to override something if you already have it there. If it works, don't need to do it. We're just showing you how to install these things for those who don't have any of these extra things. But if you already have it, don't do it. All right, if everything works, don't mess up your stuff. But always in any tutorial, there's like a handful of people that I love watching tutorials for because they're very thorough and they explain everything very well. Watch the tutorial. Watch it from beginning to end. Watch it a couple times if it's very involved. Understand what you're doing. So then when you actually go do what they're asking you to do, you know exactly where you're going. You know exactly what you're doing. Because, I mean, even the seasoned pro will screw up. Someone who's done this 1,000 times will accidentally screw up somewhere. You don't want to break your game over something stupid. You want to take your time and do things right. So then you can have more fun playing than actually fixing things, you know? So the last thing we're going to do is ScriptHookV.net. And this is also going to go in your main directory. As you can see, I got mine, a couple of files here. It's essentially kind of like what you're doing for LemonUI, but this goes in your main directory. So you grab these. The real essential ones are just the DLL and the ASI, but my game has them all, and it works fine, so it's your prerogative, I guess, that you can grab. And the INI is good because the INI will actually show you the button to press. In case scripts are acting a little wonky and you want to reload them in the game, you can hit F4, do capital R for reload, followed by opening close parenthesis, and then hit enter. Then the console dialog will maybe take probably less than 5 seconds. It'll reload all your scripts, it'll disappear, and then it should hopefully work, unless there's an error in your script or something related that might not work. But this is how you would go about reloading if you needed to. You can also associate a hotkey if you need to. I do not. I just have F4. But you can shortcut it if you just want to do that. Like, you can honestly probably go like none here and F4 here if you wanted to. That works. But for the most part, that's basically it for those. So now we have to go back to the mod, the little mod file. So here, it's going to be back to this. We're going to go to mods, update, RPF, x64 textures, script underscore txds dot rpf. Don't worry, the mouthful, we'll get through it. So the first thing is, if you don't have a mod folder, you're going to probably see something like this down here. All right. So have no fear. And this is something I learned from Benzo Effect. If you want to save some hard drive space, you don't necessarily have to just create like an overseeing mod folder. Do the folders as you need them. If you want to save, because these things, this is the bulk of the game here. This is all your textures and models and all that stuff. So this could definitely bog down heavily on your hard drive space if you just copy everything over. I made that mistake, and I think if I ever have to reinstall, I'm definitely doing a cleaner route of as I need things, I will do it. But in this case, we're gonna go update, update, and then x64, and then we're gonna go textures, and then script underscore txds. Now you're gonna get this warning here where it says show in mods folder. It means because I already have it. Now if you don't have this folder, it's gonna say copy to mods folder. All right, I would highly suggest before you do anything else, copy this folder, because it's basically going to create the cookie trail. It's going to create updates, update RPF 64 textures. It's going to get you to this route. It's going to put it in your mods folder. You're going to be good. So when you get this far and now you're dealing with a mods folder, all right, so now you're going, now basically copied it into here. All right, you're going to want to go down that cookie trail again. Make sure you're in mods, update, update, x64, right, textures, and then boom, here we go. Script underscore txds dot rpf. And you're going to double click that. And I already have it, so I'm going to show you where it's at. You can also just type it in. So we started typing, auto jumped here, SimpleHUD. So we're going to drag and drop. I'm going to put it here. And this is basically what it creates. And you're going to see new additions of what he did, actually. Because before, it just had the menu banner for the LemonUI. And then it had just the American, the US version of the speed limit sign. But now he's had it European and Canadian. Canadian one's going to say maximum. The speed limit for Europe is going to have the red and white circle. So, with that being said, we are pretty much done with modding this. Like, it's a lot wordier than it needed to be, but there's a lot of steps. And for the most part, if you have a working LSPDFR and you've dabbled in this stuff for a while, you probably already have the majority of the things. But again, this is probably more of a full tutorial for beginning to end of those who do not have ScriptHookVs, ScriptHookV.nets, or LemonUI, and also important dependencies like a mods folder and a scripts folder. So we are going to hop into the game and we're going to show you how it's done. All right, we are in the game. So for those who were wondering from earlier, we will do the reload real quick for the scripts. So you hit F4 or whatever key you designated, and you type in reload, open and close parentheses, and then you hit enter. It'll take a couple seconds, and it might actually open up my trainer. And apparently it made everything dark because it reloaded the day and night. So we are in the dark right now. Or I can just change it real quick. Have it open currently. So we'll change it to daytime. Okay, I'm gonna hit M for my SimpleHUD, but I think the default is F10. And that'll bring that up. You probably remember SimpleHUD from the mod that we showed you, the little graphic. That's where it's pulling to. You got your generals, you got your primary, and you got your secondary colors. You got your speedo, your unit. You can change it to kilometers, color for it, and whether you want to disable or enable your speedometer. Then you have your directions for your coordinates, your XY coordinates, for where you want to locate your text at the bottom. And you can also scale it as well. I have mine customized. And same thing goes for time. You could do the same thing for that row as well. And then settings, you could press A. I'm on a controller, but I'm sure probably maybe enter. Yeah, enter does it as well. To do the checkbox if you want to write a line. Your SimpleHUD like a psychopath. And that's pretty straightforward. We'll hop in the car real quick and show you what pops up once you get in the car. I'm gonna show you the speed limit and your miles per hour. So put my seatbelt on, of course, because key binding. I have to close my phone because I hit up. So we got your speedometer, and then you got your speed limit. So I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Like it does a lot under the hood, but in terms of what you have to do, it's not a whole lot. And that'll be it for this tutorial. I hope you guys found it somewhat informative, and I will catch you in the next one. Later.